Welcome to Arts Talk. I'm Bill Roberts.
I'm Jennifer Boudreau.
How are you, Jen?
I'm really good. How are you?
It's always fun to get back into the studio and doing the show, isn't it?
Yes, well, I'm an extra big deal this time because
I heard a little bit about that.
So I manage a ski and snowboard team on the weekend for Jeep.
You've heard some of your almost snowboard accidents.
Most of the time it's an accident. But this year we always judge the dummy downhill. I don't know if you've ever seen one. It's so funny.
No.
People build these crazy dummies and then you send them down the hill and off a jump and you judge them on how creative they are, how much they smash, and how far they fly.
Wow.
Well, this year we had a special contestant, Rick Mercer.
Oh, wow.
Right? And because we were the judges, he wanted to do a little bit of an interview with us, and then he may have been caught on camera bribing an official. And that official may have been me.
May have been. So you were bribed.
Yeah, and I may have accepted it, and he may have then won. No, that's a lie. He didn't. His didn't perform very well.
His dummy didn't perform.
No.
It wasn't him performing. It was the dummy that he...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it didn't even make it to the jump. It went off right off the bat.
You have a lot of interesting stories from the mountains, for sure.
Yeah, it's the best time.
Yeah, it's when you're done, what are we going to talk about?
I don't know.
You
maybe? So it'll be boring, probably.
We might have to talk about me. We've got a great show coming up.
Yes, I'm excited for the guests.
Meredith Kofsky, who I believe is the 5th Poet Laureate for Edmonton, will be on. And then we have a local filmmaker by the name of Andrea Bessa. Kissing Habit Films. I want to find out all about that name.
I know, that's hilarious.
Like, is it a habit that she kisses everybody? And like,
I hope so.
How did that come about? Kissing Habit Film. So, another great show coming up. We'll be right back after this.
Welcome back. We're here with Meredith Kofsky. She's Edmonton's 5th Poet Laureate.
Well done, Jen.
Thank you. I practiced. You guys didn't see it, but I practiced that whole break to make sure that I was going to say it properly.
Well done.
She specializes in spoken word poetry, and you'll be able to see her at the Poetry Festival in April from the 16th to the 23rd. So why don't you give us a little bit of details about spoken word poetry, and your background. How did you get into it?
Sure, yeah. It's a performance type of poetry, performance-based poetry. So most of it is not written down on the page, but rather performed in front of people. I got into it through something called Poetry Slam, which are poetry competitions where you write and then you perform the poem and you're judged by the audience right away and kind of move through the competition that way. So I found that interesting and that's what got me into it.
Crazy. That's so brave. You must be pretty vulnerable writing something like that on stage and then performing it, especially when you're first learning.
Yeah, it's a little bit masochistic, you know, you have to like lay your feelings out there and then be like, judge me. But I mean, I don't know, I grew up doing competitive sports and then for me, poetry was just another way to tell my story and just sort of another way of speaking, and it felt important to me, and I liked the competition aspect of it. Some people don't, but it doesn't bother me. I like that sort of thing. So that's what drew me in, but I don't do that too much anymore now. I just do more just performance-based stuff.
So is your poetry based around like life situations, or what do you base it on?
Yeah, lots of my stuff that I do is just personal narrative. When I was Poet Laureate for the city, shifted my writing a lot because I spent 2 years just writing about Edmonton and writing about the city and its people and its history, which was a new challenge, but similar still. Like I always tried to insert myself into that narrative.
Right.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between spoken word and non-spoken word? Are styles different, or is it just one's performance and one's not?
I like to say that they're can be blended together. Some people feel more strongly about a divide, but I think that the forms are malleable enough that they can present themselves either through performance or on a page. You pay particular attention to different things if you're writing just strictly for a page. You know, you think about like where the line's breaking, and as opposed to when you're performing, maybe you think about a bit more of like where your breath is coming or that sort of thing. But
right.
Yeah.
Would you be open to giving us a little taste of your spoken word?
Sure, I'll give you a little segment.
Sounds good.
All right. Tonight, someone will hear your words for the first time and hold them like prayers. Go gently. Your heart is not meant to be spoken through broken teeth. A light has anchored itself to your tongue. Speak through it. Breathe into this. Tonight, you are moondrops in mason jars. You are lanterns in the night. You are lighthouses. You are beacons. You are plants reaching towards the sun. You are magic in the morning. You are fire in the evening. Come closer. sit with us. I want to hear the static stories broadcast from the radios of your ribs. Give me your inside voices. So,
wow,
that's
amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
It's amazing. So, yeah, it should be a clap for sure. So then, if you're doing a poetry slam, like how long do you have? Like how long of a poem do you have to come up with in that time frame? Is it 2 minutes, 3 minutes? Like what
so the standard one is 3 minutes, but then sometimes it varies anywhere. There's some competitions where you go from 4, 3, 2, and a 1 minute poem. So it just depends on what competition you're in, but standard 3 minutes.
Is it kind of like a rap battle where you have to
but more tame, right? It's not so urban. It's like a tame rap battle.
Do you come with stuff prepared already, or do you have to write it on the spot? Okay.
Some people do like just go off the top of their head and go, but no, I don't. I like think about it and then write it and practice a lot of like 5th Poet Laureate over and over again, like you were doing. So repetition.
So tell us a little bit, being the 5th Poet Laureate. So how do you become that? How does one become
so you have to be nominated, and then the Edmonton Arts Council does a shortlisting process, and they bring you in front of an interview panel, which involves people from the city, people from the Arts Council, Edmonton Public Library, community members, and they ask you questions about what your vision is for the role, where you see the role going, what your background is, and then you perform a couple poems for them, and and then they choose. So that's how that works.
Awesome. And you've created the Youth Poet Laureate?
I did,
as part of your tenure?
As part of my tenure, you can do whatever you however you want to take the role of Poet Laureate, you can do that. And so my legacy project was to create the position of Youth Poet Laureate. We've had 2 so far, so we're coming up into selecting our 3rd one this July probably, but we'll put the call out in April for nominations. And I've always worked with youth, and it's just really important for me to get their artistic voices heard in the city, and that was the intention. I partnered with the City of Edmonton Youth Council, and we created the position, and now we work with the Poetry Festival as well to run that position.
What's the age range for that?
That's a good question. It's 13 to 23, I believe. It matches the City Youth Council age as well. Yeah.
And do they have 2 years as the Youth Laureate? Just one.
Yeah, we didn't want to anchor them to a position for too long.
Short attention spans at that age.
But they're doing great. Our current one is Nasra Adam, and she's everywhere across the city. I'm sure people have seen her, but she's doing fantastic in the role. And Charlotte Cranston was the first one.
So quickly before we have to wrap up, Mary, if people wanted to get a hold of you or they wanted to go to a poetry slam, like how do they find out that information?
Yeah, so Poetry Slam happens through the Breath and Poetry Collective. It's usually every Tuesday, and they can just go Google that and they'll find the Breath and Poetry Collective website. I'm on Twitter at One Last Poem. People can reach me that way, and other poetry events through the Edmonton Poetry Festival website.
And where are you performing, or when are you performing during the festival?
April 20th, I'm performing in an event called Late Night Literati at Yellowhead Brewery, and April 22nd, I'm performing in an event that is, we're creating poems based on Leonard Cohen's songs at Studio 96, I believe it's called. So that's where I'll be during the festival.
Excellent. Leonard Cohen, that's going to be an amazing night.
Yeah, I think it's going to be beautiful. There'll be musicians, and then there'll be poets, and everyone's been given a different song, and so I think it'll be wonderful. Yeah, it'll be a good celebration of that storytelling life. Yeah.
Well, Mary, thank you so much for being on Arts Talk.
Me.
We appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
We'll be right back after this. Events time on Art Talk. There's always fun stuff going on around the city.
Getting into spring events.
There sure is, and this one is really interesting actually. It actually started July 26th of 2016 and runs till April 9th of 2017. But when have you gone into an art gallery and somebody says, don't touch the artwork?
You know what? My husband took me to the art gallery on our first date, and I touched something that I shouldn't have. Like, it was the tip of a pyramid kind of sculpture, and then it resulted in our first kiss.
Oh, well.
So it seemed like a good idea to me.
This particular workshop, which is called Touch Lab at the Art Gallery of Alberta, basically covers all of that. So Touch Lab is a collaborative project put on by the Alberta Art Gallery and an art designer by the name of Anna Carolina Suzel, who investigates how human-made and natural elements cause wear and tear on works of art over time. So it goes over the fact of really why you don't want to touch artwork, because it actually does affect it. Kind of an interesting workshop. Anyway, started July of last year and runs till April 9th of this year. Also coming up, March 23rd, a midday concert with the Dan Davis Trio at the Alberta College campus, which will take place in the cafeteria, and that's just off of McDonald Drive here in Edmonton. And it's a lunch, jazz music, Dan Davis on saxophone, Doug Bernier on bass, and Tyson Kerr on piano.
Oh, that sounds really lovely.
Sounds like fun.
I love lunch.
For sure. And what do you have there, Jen?
Well, I've got a couple of events as well. Going back to the artist theme, there's the artist reception and new exhibit party that happens at the Lotus Art Gallery the last Friday of every month. So the upcoming events are March 31st and then April 28th. It's a free event, and there's lots of music and a new art opening exhibit, but my favorite part is the complimentary wine.
Free wine.
Mm-hmm.
That could be even the best part. You never
We should go.
I think that would be good.
But it's a new artist every month that they're exhibiting, so it's a great way to support your local artists. And then coming from March 24th to March 26th is the Make It at Northlands Expo Center. And it's a handmade market devoted to creating positive opportunities for artists and designers and to give enlightened shoppers the opportunity to buy unique and ethically made items from artisans all over Canada.
That sounds like fun.
It sounds like a great shopping opportunity.
As always, a ton of stuff going on in Edmonton and surrounding area. We'll be right back after this. And we are back with Arts Talk. We have a local filmmaker with us, Andrea Bessa. How are you, Andrea?
Good, how are you?
Doing very well. You have an interesting name for your film company, Kissing Habit Films. Explain that to me.
It's a bit of a long story. I started out working in theater, and my theater company was named Cowardly Kiss, which is based on a poem by Oscar Wilde.
Right.
So when I kind of migrated into film, I still really wanted to pay homage to him because he's one of my favorite writers of all time.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of a play on words, and that's how Kissing Habit kind of came to be.
Nice.
Yeah.
That wasn't that long.
Well, it was a roundabout way of getting to my film company name, but yeah.
So, go ahead.
No, you go.
So tell us a little bit about your background. Why did you get into filmmaking?
Well, I've wanted to make film since I was a little kid, and like I said, I got super involved in theater when I was about 15 or so. And so I spent many years doing that. I had an independent theater company. I wrote, directed, and produced theater for about 7 years. And I don't know, the migration just kind of naturally happened. I hit a point where it just felt right for me to move into film. And so I just dove in, I bought a camera and started making films about 5 years ago, and the rest is kind of history. It just seemed like a natural progression in storytelling and how I was telling stories. Yeah.
And do you write all of your films as well?
I do, yeah.
Fabulous. Are they based off of things that you've experienced in life, or do you have a genre?
I don't write any specific genre. I have written, I guess, maybe more horror than anything, but I think that's just because I have a really dark sense of humor. I've been into horror since I was a little kid, so I've just kind of always liked dark things. I was obsessed with Addams Family and things like that when I was little. But I usually say that I write about either things that are inspired by things that happened to me in life or just about the human condition.
Right.
And then as the story progresses, it sort of becomes what it becomes. So like I just released a horror short, but I'm also currently editing a dramatic piece. So it's a little bit of everything.
Are they all short films, or have you done some features as well?
So far I've just created short films. I would love to do a feature one day, but that definitely involves more funding and more time. And
of course.
So in the future, that's definitely a dream of mine.
Yeah.
All right, so all sorts of really fun stuff happens on set. Like I'm constantly picking on Bill here, which is
I know
great.
Always.
So tell us, like, what's a favorite set story that you have?
Well, I mean, there's always funny things that go wrong. When we were filming Night Walk, which just came out, we needed to splatter blood on a window. So of course we're not using real blood, it's like stage blood or screen blood. But
I hope it's not real blood.
Well, we were filming in an unheated warehouse, and so I was on the other side of the window outside and basically shouting action and holding the camera and hoping that everything would go well. And as it turned out, it was so cold that the blood was literally freezing kind of mid-air, and so it wouldn't splatter and it wouldn't hit the window, and I was just standing on the other side like, why isn't anything happening? And they're just like, you know, I've got my whole crew on the inside of the warehouse, like just trying their hardest to whip this blood that was just turning into strings of frozen goo all over the place. So that was a fun adventure. We thought it would be really quick and easy to shoot, and it took us like probably close to 2 hours. So yeah.
And of course it's cold, which doesn't make it easy for the crew and everybody else.
No, and it was a mess. It was kind of hilarious.
How did you fix it in the end?
A whole lot of improvising. We managed to, thankfully my makeup artist had some different blood in her kit, and we sort of blended things and added warm water to things, and like, you know, it turned out to be the best we could make it be in that short period of time. But yeah, it took some very quick thinking, for sure.
So what's your favorite part of the whole process? Do you prefer the writing? Do you prefer directing? Or do you just like all of it? Like, what's your favorite?
I have such a hard time picking a favorite, honestly. I love every step in different ways. I love writing. I love shooting. I would say that part's probably the most intense and stressful. So I kind of love it after the fact. And I, through just being an independent filmmaker and kind of doing everything on my own out of necessity, I realized I have a huge love of editing. So editing is definitely one of my favorite parts. It's tedious, but I think that's when the writer in me gets to come back and really shape the story. So I've totally fallen in love with that.
Interesting, interesting. Do you only edit your own pieces?
No, I actually have worked as an editor on quite a few things, and as an assistant editor on quite a few documentary series and things like that. So I would say that that's one of the things I do most now, is work as an editor.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
I try with the video merger on my app to merge some of my videos together, and it's not very
Not
pleasant.
a smooth process.
No.
So what's coming up for Kissing Habit? You just released a short called Nightwalker. What else is in the works?
Yeah, so Nightwalk just came out in February, and I'm currently editing another short film called The Disappearing Act, which will be probably publicly released late this year or early next year. So.
And what's that about?
It is a dramatic short about a woman who is going through loss in her life, and she translates that loss and grief into an interesting, almost Pika-esque disorder where she starts trying to eat her memories and eat her life. So she's basically eating her home and life as the story unfolds.
Cool.
Yeah.
So before we have to wrap up here, Andrea, if people wanted to get a hold of you, even say local actors, actresses, if they are looking maybe for roles and you're doing any casting, how do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, the best way to get a hold of me is probably either through Twitter. The handle is @KissingHabit, or kissinghabit.com. That's kind of where you can see a little bit of everything that we've done and learn about what's coming up. We've got a blog that's always updated, so that's a really good way. And we're also on Facebook, just Kissing Habit Films.
Excellent. If they want to see any of your work, is it up on YouTube or anything?
Yep, we have a YouTube channel, and everything's also on the website, so that's a good place to go for kind of everything at once.
Nice. Yeah. Thanks, Andrea, for being on Arts Talk. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
We'll be right back after this. Time always flies by so quick with these shows.
It does. We had some really great guests, and I'll tell you a little bit of a secret. I think that was my first spoken word concert of sorts.
Was it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was very exciting.
And Mary did a great job.
It was beautiful.
And say that one more time. Fifth poet laureate.
Fifth poet laureate.
Well done.
Huh?
You've got it now.
It's my new thing.
Good.
I'm going to say it all the time.
Of course, and Andrea was really great as well.
Yeah, I look
And
forward to
she's got
seeing
some neat
her
things coming
short.
up. And we got to learn what Kissing Habit actually meant, so
Yes.
that was important as well.
Yes.
So coming up on our next show, we've got some great guests coming up as well from the John Humphrey Center for Peace and Human Rights. We've got David Noe and I hope I pronounce his name right, Megan van der Giesen, and they do a lot of film work based around human rights and that type of thing. So that should be really interesting to talk about and
I
learn
look
about
forward
as
to that
well.
one.
And we have Adam Blank, who is a local comedian who I guess is doing very well and has done a lot of touring around Alberta and Canada. So we'll find out a lot more about Adam.
I hope he's funny.
I sure hope he is funny. You know, I know you. I think you're pretty funny as well, Jen. So there might be a real good. You know, you did improv way back at our season opener for season 2.
Oh, that's right. That's
so you should
true.
be an expert at being a comedian or improv type comedian as well.
I'm okay on the spot. I don't think that I could write jokes and then perform them and be funny.
So you couldn't do a poetry slam then, is what you're saying?
No, definitely not. I would probably just end up doing Roses Are Red 20 different times, yeah.
Roses are red, violets are blue, yeah.
Yeah, that exact poem. Did you write that?
I did, no.
Oh.
I was going to take credit for a minute there, but no, I didn't write that. So if people want to get on Arts Talk, what do they do?
Oh, yes. Well, you can email us at artstalkedmonton@gmail.com. You can also contact us on our Facebook page, which is at, Arts Talk TV, or on Instagram and Twitter, which is at Arts Talk TV.
So yeah, again, it's great if you want to be on the show, and we're actually getting that more and more, where people are actually sending us emails to artstalkedmonton@gmail.com,
Right.
And asking if they could be on the show, or they want to talk about an event, or they've got something coming up, and this is your opportunity. Come on the show, and we can promote that for you, and get to learn a little bit about your artwork or whatever it is that you do in the art world here in Edmonton as well.
Yeah, especially your events. We want to be promoting local events that are maybe something new and people would have never considered to go to before.
For sure.
So send us those emails.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We'll see you next time.